What up, though? This is Kevin Melson with Beyond Your Limits, and if you're new to the channel, thanks for checking us out. If you're not, welcome back. All right, this video is going to be a series on how you can maximize your game. I'm going to teach you exactly step by step a process that you can do that will help you greatly. It has helped me immensely. The process that I'm going to show you in this video and the following videos, it is exactly what I use to go from being cut from the JV team to being all-state, one of the best players in the state, to leading the nation in scoring in junior college, to a 10-year professional career. And I can put most of my success on this training that I'm going to teach you guys that took me from someone that couldn't even make the JV team all the way to a professional athlete. And this process that I'm going to explain, I've heard several NBA players mention it in interviews and things like that, but I have never seen anyone teach this method, although it is widely used from NBA players and great basketball players alike. And so in this video and the following videos, I'm gonna break down to you exactly what you can do to bring your game to the next level. And so before we get to the first step, I'm gonna give you a story that happened while I was in junior college that kind of brings the point of this first step. And while I was in junior college, I led the nation in scoring. I was the scorer for our team. Our team looked for me to score a lot. And so during the game, the opposite team, they would come double team me every time I put the ball on the floor. So if I had the ball on the wing and was just holding it, nobody would trap. But as soon as I tried to drive to the basket, they would send another man to come trap me. And so it was a timeout. And so when we were running over to the bench, one of my teammates came to me and said, "Kevin, every time they double team you, I'm wide open in the corner. Just hit me with the pass, I'm wide open." And so, we were talking on our way back to the bench, and our coach heard the conversation. And he looked at the guy, he said, "You're open for a reason," and subbed him out of the game. And I thought that was pretty harsh at the time. Right now I think it's funny, but he subbed him out of the game, told him he was open for a reason. And so the game went on, and the next day in practice, I went to talk to my coach. And this is something that I suggest that every player do. Go talk to your coach, see what he's thinking, see what he thinks about your game, how you played, and things you can improve on, because you want to know what your coach is thinking, because your coach determines a lot for your basketball future with your playing time and opportunities that you may get. A lot of that comes from your coach. So you want to make sure you know what your coach wants from you. But anyway, I went into my coach's office and we were talking about the game, things I did bad, things I did good, what can I improve upon. So I brought up the point of my teammate, him telling him that he was open for a reason. And and Coach Briggs, he's always been straightforward with me, and so he told me, he said, "Kevin, have you ever seen this player make a corner three-pointer in the game?" And up to that point, I had never seen him hit a corner three. He said, "Kevin, have you ever seen him practice a corner three-pointer shot in practice or after the game? You ever seen him practicing corner threes?" No, I hadn't seen him practicing corner threes. And so he was telling me that, that shot is out of his range. That is not something that's in his game. So if I was to come down and to pass him the ball in the corner, most likely he's going to miss that shot. And so he was telling me that if that player would have cut to the basket, when his man left him to double team, he was like, then that'd be okay for you to pass him the ball and he could maybe shoot a layup or a closer shot or shots that he's used to, that he normally takes. And so with him staying in the corner, he was playing to his weakness. And Coach Briggs went on to tell me that, this player's role on the team is to pressure the other team's point guard, to make it hard for them to get into their offense. That's his primary job, is to make it tough for the other team's point guard. And, he was great at that. He was a great defensive player. And what he told me was that, shooting is not his role on this team. He hadn't proved that he could shoot, and he wasn't a very good shooter. But Coach Briggs went on to tell me that this is exactly what the other team wants. The other team is double teaming me so I can pass to him to shoot a shot that he can't make. And Coach Briggs went on to say that I've seen you hit shots over double teams every day in practice. I see you do it every game. I'm much more comfortable with you shooting maybe an elbow or a short jump shot over 2 defenders than I am with you passing to him for a wide open shot in the corner. And so the reason that I bring up this story is because you need to know your strengths and weaknesses. That's step 1 in this process. Know your strengths and weaknesses, because that can determine how well you play. All right, the very first thing we're gonna do, get a pen and a pencil and write down your strengths and weaknesses. Think about where the most of your shots come from. Do you shoot a lot of threes? Are they catch and shoot threes? Are they off the dribble? Do you penetrate? Also think about the things that you like to do within basketball, because people normally gravitate towards what they do well. People like to do things that they're good at. So if you shoot a lot of 3-pointers, most likely you're a good 3-point shooter and you like to shoot 3-pointers. If you penetrate to the basket a lot, you need to write down exactly what your strengths and weaknesses are. You need to know if you're, a lockdown defender. That might be your primary skill. And so you also want to find your weaknesses. Are you uncomfortable dribbling the basketball? Are you uncomfortable, shooting long range shots? Are you uncomfortable trying to penetrate through, multiple defenders? So you need to know your strengths and your weaknesses. And once you wrote down all the strengths and weaknesses that you have, you need to go find a coach, a teammate, a parent, somebody that's going to tell you the truth, not somebody that's just going to say, oh, you're good at everything. Just get to somebody that'll tell you the truth and ask them for their opinions. What are your strengths and weaknesses in basketball? And write those down as well. And lastly, if you have some tape, some video of yourself, you want to watch the video, watch the tape. Where do your shots come from? What area of the floor? How do you get there? Find out your strengths and weaknesses. And that's the very first part to this series, is to know your strengths and weaknesses. If you can play to your strengths and avoid your weaknesses, that will make you a much better basketball player. Just that by itself. If you play to your strengths and avoid your weaknesses, man, that'll make a lot of people a lot better. A lot of players often, they try to prove people wrong. So if you have a reputation of not being able to shoot, a lot of people may back up off you and allow you to shoot and try to force you to shoot. But you should never let the defense dictate what you do. A lot of players will go and they'll try to prove everybody wrong. I can shoot, and they'll go and shoot and shoot and shoot. And they're backing up off of you for a reason, because you're not good at shooting. So you don't want to go and play into their hands and shoot the shot that they're playing you to shoot. So a good example of this is I remember I was watching a game of Providence University when Sham was playing for Providence. Some of you guys may know him. The Sham guy move, when you throw it out with one hand, you snatch it back the other way. Well, that Sham guy made that move popular. He was an extremely good ball handler, extremely good penetrator to the basket, but he wasn't a good shooter. And I remember I was watching the game, and his defender was playing him in the paint. And Sham God, I don't believe he's 6 foot. He's a point guard. He's pretty short. And maybe in the first couple minutes, Sham God came and he shot a couple 3-pointers and he missed them. And then something clicked, or the coach talked to him. I don't know what it was, but from that point on, he didn't shoot another 3-pointer. The guy that was checking him was playing back in the paint, and he just penetrated at him full speed, did one move, and was right at the basket for a layup or a dump-off pass, and he did that for the rest of the game. And that was brilliant for him to recognize that, shooting is not his strength. Penetrating to the basket is. And even though the defense was playing back up off of him, he still went to his strength. That just gave him a running start to get at the defense and, do one move, and he was right at the basket. And he ended up destroying that team. I forget who they were playing, but that was a great example of somebody playing to their strengths no matter what the defense was trying to do. And so that's the main point of this video, is to know your strengths and weaknesses. And in the next video, I'm going to show you guys how you can even take that even further to make yourself an even better basketball player. This is just part 1. Part 2 will be coming tomorrow. I'm gonna download these all in a row, so stay tuned. So I'm gonna show you how you can effectively use your strengths and your weaknesses to take you even higher than just playing to your strengths and avoiding your weaknesses, I'm gonna give you some more tips on what you can do to maximize that even more. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll check you guys out next time.